In the 1950s, a Mexican worker named Julián Santana suddenly abandoned his family and chose to live in self-imposed exile on an island that, at the time, was unknown to anyone. People whispered that his decision was no coincidence, as if some unknown force had called him to this place shrouded in eerie mysteries. Residents of nearby villages always avoided the island, murmuring about those who had vanished there without a trace and strange sounds that echoed through the night. According to one legend, the ghost of a drowned girl haunted the island, while other, darker rumors spoke of innocent children who had been forcibly drowned in its murky waters. The first encounter with terror. When Julián settled on the island, he found no peace. His nights were plagued by nightmares of a little girl with empty eyes and a sinister smile who would try to speak to him. She called his name, cried, and sometimes laughed, loudly and piercingly, as though her voice came from everywhere at once. One morning, Julián found an old doll with a missing arm lying near his shack. The toy was covered in dirt, but its glassy eyes stared directly at him. He took this as a sign, a dreadful warning. In a panic, Julián hung the doll on a tree outside his home. "Maybe this will calm her, or at least protect me," he whispered. But the fear didn't go away. The island becomes a museum of nightmares. From that moment on, Julián seemed to lose his mind. Believing that the dolls could appease the spirits, he began searching for them everywhere, in garbage dumps, canals, and even trading vegetables for broken toys with local children. He didn't just hang the dolls. He meticulously created a horrifying gallery. Moldy, broken, eyeless, or with scorched faces, they dangled menacingly from the trees, bending branches under their weight. At first, locals mocked Julián's obsession, but over time, they came to believe that his efforts truly kept the spirits at bay. They began bringing him old toys themselves, offering them as sacrifices to the island's mysterious forces. Dark nights and demonic laughter. The nights on the island were especially terrifying. Villagers nearby claimed they could hear strange sounds, children crying, whispering voices, and inhuman laughter. Occasionally under the moonlight, they swore they saw Julián standing among the trees, staring at the sky and laughing. His laughter was low and piercing, as if his sanity had slipped away entirely. Julián himself told stories of the dolls moving at night, their heads slowly turning, their empty eye sockets seemingly tracking his every move. Once, he claimed to have seen one of the dolls climb down from a tree and walk toward his shack. The mysterious death of Julián. Julián's life ended as strangely as his obsession began. In April 2001, he was found drowned in one of the island's canals, the very place where, according to him, the girl had died. Many believed it was the island's curse finally claiming him. After his death, the island's eerie reputation only grew. His family decided to preserve the place and even opened it as a tourist attraction. People traveled from far and wide to see the island, draped with thousands of unsettling dolls. Tourists often brought their own dolls to leave behind, hoping to appease the spirits dwelling there. Living nightmares. The most chilling rumors are about the dolls coming to life after sunset. Some visitors claim to hear them whispering to one another, while others reported seeing the toys move between the trees. No one dares to stay on the island after dark. No one except Julián Santana ever spent the night among the dolls. The island still holds its secrets and waits for new victims. The curse of the tourists. Since the island became a tourist destination, strange events have haunted those who dared to visit. Stories of unexplainable phenomena abound. Many visitors returned with dark memories, but for some, the experience was far more devastating. Some reported hearing the cries of children at night after leaving the island. Others claimed to see doll-like silhouettes flickering in their peripheral vision, or voices calling their names when no one was there. And for some, the price of curiosity was far worse. Unexplainable deaths and madness. Death on the water. A young woman from Mexico City returned to the island alone a few days after her first visit. At dawn, her body was found drowned in the same canal where Julián had perished. There were no signs of injury, but she was clutching an old doll tightly in her hand. A doll no one had ever seen before. Dolls in the mirror. A man who visited the island with his family claimed that, after his trip, dolls began appearing in the reflections of his home's mirrors. He destroyed all the mirrors, but it didn't help. He was later found dead in his bedroom, surrounded by dolls that hadn't been there before. Their empty eye sockets stared directly at his disfigured face. The cause of death was never determined. Whispers that drove him mad. Another visitor, a photographer from Germany, was institutionalized in a psychiatric clinic just a month after his visit. He claimed to hear the dolls calling his name, whispering and laughing. On the night before his hospitalization, he tried to burn his camera, screaming that they were captured in his photos. Nighttime visitors. A young couple from the US decided to stay on the island overnight for the thrill of it. They disappeared without a trace. Their belongings were found abandoned near the water's edge, and their boat remained tied to the dock. The only clue was a trail of small, childlike footprints leading from the shore into the island's dark interior. A warning for the brave. Local villagers warned visitors never to take a doll from the island or try to destroy one. Those who broke this rule met terrible fates. A local fisherman who accidentally brought home a doll was found days later in his boat, his eyes wide open in terror. The doll sat beside him as if watching his final moments. The island's dark secret lives on. Despite the warnings, tourists continue to visit the island, which remains a place where fear becomes reality. Who knows what forces dwell in this cursed place, and how many more lives it will claim. But if you choose to visit, beware. Never stare into the doll's eyes too long. Never touch them, and above all, never stay there after sunset. If you like the story, then please subscribe to my channel. Like it and I'll write some comments, and for example, would you dare to visit this creepy island? Or could you stay there alone for a night? Or would you not dare to risk it because it is very dangerous?